Hello again, Dane McCalla here. Sincere apologies if you're joining us live. Some quite severe technical problems. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you the first 9 or 10 lap of race 2. We pick it up here on lap 10. Lewis Manley is on course for a second win. He has a commanding lead of 2.6 seconds over Callum Cripps, who's now ahead into second place ahead of Ben Willis. The two big incidents we've seen so far in this race, Adam Christopher having a big spin on the option tyre on his own, not under any pressure coming into the complex, and Jack Ashton, who was running in fourth place right behind Callum Cripps, has had to serve a drive-through penalty for repeated breaches of track limits. So with 6 laps to go, this is the situation. Lewis Manley's leading by 2.6 seconds of Callum Cripps, who is in turn a second ahead of Ben Willis in third, and it's a big gap of over 9 seconds back to Chris Wilson in fourth, and he's at the head of this long train you see here. Wilson fourth, Ben Pennyworth fifth, Max Spooner in sixth on the option tyre, Adam Christopher having a big move there in seventh place, Shamak Glodic in eighth, Jack Ashton is right just in the background. You can see him there in ninth place trying to cover after his driving penalty, and Colin Talbot bringing up the rear after he was spun round at the very first corner. So no repeat podium heroics for Colin. The race kind of settled a bit more down into its rhythm, but I think looking at the situation at the moment, I think it's here in the midfield where we are likely to see the big battles over the remaining 5.5 laps of this race, with Lewis Manley on course to repeat what he managed in 2018 by winning both races 1 and 2. So we've watched these midfielders, the Wilson group, Pennyworth, Spooner, Christopher, they're all there. Christopher, a very strange spin, he kind of just went a little bit too wide coming on the approach to Campbell. It's almost just like he locked up, a real waste of the option tyre for him. I hope he's not wearing out as much as he wore the tyres in race 1. For those of you who just catch up on the race 1, there were a couple of incidents. The steward decided no penalties, and so the results stood as they were. Here come those midfielders through again now. Wilson, let's go defending top of Pennyworth. Spooner's there. There could be a move now coming into the complex because Pennyworth has got a chance to go on the inside line. There's contact. Pennyworth hit Wilson, and Pennyworth's going well onto the grass. He's well off the track. I think everyone else managed just about to keep it in a straight line. Wilson's there. Pennyworth is going to resume just about in his previous position. He's just ahead of Max Spooner, so didn't lose a place at all, having gone cross country. But look at the back as well. Ashton, Glodic, Christopher, they're pretty much 3 wide going into Noble. That doesn't normally work. Christopher's just holding off. Jack Ashton is going to come through into Goodwood. So the upshot of that positions is all the same, apart from Jack Ashton has moved up 2 places from 9th, and he's recovered back up into 7th. Very much the scenic route being taken by Ben Pennyworth there as he tried to get a run to have a go on Chris Wilson inside the complex, but he has taken back to the track and resumed free position. Max Spooner's run wide at Church, and I think he's just going to get swallowed up by the rest of the group. Ashton goes past, Christopher goes past, Glodic goes past. A shame for Max Spooner, is the other driver today, in this race at least, running on the option tyre, and he falls from 6th all the way back to 9th. Now, what's happened to Lewis Manley at the front? I think he's made a big mistake at the chicane, because his lead's down to 1.2 seconds. His lap last time was at the 15, and Callum Cripps is suddenly a lot closer to him than he was. We're down to 1.2 seconds, and maybe this race, as far as the win is concerned, is maybe not quite the foregone conclusion that we thought it might be. Cripps has taken another 1/4 of a second out of him in Sector 1. The gap continues to come down. Jack Ashton, as you see on your screen, has moved up another place. He's got past Adam Christopher this time, and he's got back into 6th position as he continues his comeback from his drive-through penalty. But hopefully we can have a look at what's going on with the leaders, because I think there's a real battle emerging here. Lewis Manley and Callum Cripps. Manley in search of his 2nd win of the day, Cripps in search of a 5th win of the season. And the gap now is down to just over half a second. We have a look, we go picture in picture there, and you can see in the bottom right hand corner just how close it is now between Manley and Cripps. They cross the line, 3 laps to go. 14.7 that time around by Manley, 14.0 for Cripps, and the gap is down to less than 0.6 of a second. And it looks like Cripps by the end of this lap might be all over the back of him. The battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th remains in your main picture there. That's Wilson, Pennyworth, Ashton, Christopher in that order. In the bottom right hand corner there, you'll see Callum Cripps as he continues his late race pursuit of Lewis Manley. I'll just try to get the first sector times up now. Another 2/10 Cripps has taken. The gap is down to less than half a second. Shamak Glodic in the main picture has just gone wide at Campbell. I think it's going to drop him out of that battle. The 8th place has actually dropped him back behind Max Spooner. So he's back to 9th spot. You can see there Pennyworth lining up to maybe have another go at Wilson. We've got plenty going on here. I'm glad we can get you back and show you the finale of this race. Ashton attacking Bennyworth now to try and get back into fifth through Goodwood. There's almost too much going on to work out. Here are the leaders. They're side by side. Cripps has gone to the outside. Can he get it done on Manley? Manley going very defensive. Can he get it stopped and hold the line? No, he can't. He's just run wide. I wonder if that's tyre wear. And Callum Cripps has fought his way through. And from fifth on the grid, he moves into the lead with just over 2 laps to go. And the championship leader is on course for win number 5. And with Jack Ashton only in 5th place at the moment, Callum Cripps at the moment on course to make up big ground in the championship fight. And I wonder whether Lewis Manley is vulnerable to Ben Willis here, because he's only 1.6 seconds ahead. And I think Manley really starting to struggle with his tyres. So it's Cripps, Manley, Willis. Then that great battle, Ashton, I think, side by side with Wilson. I think Ashton might be just about very close to making the move for 4th place, and he has. And there we are. We've got them into Allard, and he's going defensive into Campbell. I think that's going to allow Adam Christopher to try and come through as well on Chris Wilson. A bit of contact, but Christopher has the inside, and he's through. So Ashton up to 4th. A good recovery this. He was 9th after his drive-through penalty, one of which has just been given to Max Spooner for track limits. That's the second time today that he's been given one. Ashton 4th, Christopher 5th, with just over a lap to go. Cripps well ahead of Manley now, who in turn still has 1.6 on Ben Willis, and Manley might just be about to hang on to 2nd place. You can see him picture in picture there, still with a decent advantage over Ben Willis, who's hunting for his 2nd podium of the day. I wonder if there can be another late race battle with Ashton and Christopher, because Christopher's got a very good run out of Church. Max Spooner's gone off at Church of the Mag. He's going to resume in 8th place, and Christopher's going to try and find a gap on the inside. Already been involved in one incident today on the last lap of race 1. Ashton goes defensive, monsters the curves as always, and we are on to the last lap. Cripps leads Manley by 3 seconds. Ben Willis is less than a second behind him now, so 2nd, still very much in dispute. Then it's Ashton, Christopher, and just behind them, Wilson and Bennyworth, and then Max Spooner, who has his drive-through penalty. Well, if we could only bring you 6 laps of the race, I'm glad it was these 6, because we've had most of the action at this back end of this 2nd race of the 3 today. Ashton and Christopher 4th and 5th. That's what we're looking at here, trying to see if Ben Willis is closing up to Lewis Manley. He is, but unless Manley makes a mistake, I don't think he's going to be close enough to have a go into the chicane on this 16th and final lap. Callum Cripps, great drive to come through from 5th on the grid. Looks like he's going to make it win number 5 this year, having of course lost his 100% podium record with that clash on the final lap of race 1. But look at this race here between Ashton and Christopher, and they're coming out to the point where there was that clash in the last lap of race 1. Is Christopher going to have a look on the inside of Church? No, he's not. I think Callum Cripps is going to hold on. We're just not going to see him in the field, but Callum Cripps is going to win the race here. It's going to be win number 5 of the season for the defending champion, and Christopher's on the grass as the battle for 4th continues. Cripps has won. Manley's held on for 2nd, just ahead of Ben Willis by less than half a second, and here comes Christopher around the outside. Can he get it stopped again for 4th place? He's going to go straight across the chicane, so he won't be able to keep hold of it. So Jack Ashton, having been 9th, will recover to 4th place. Then it will be Adam Christopher, and then wait for the rest of the grid to come across the line. It looks like it's going to be Ben Bennyworth in 6th spot. We're just waiting across the line now. It is, and then it's going to be Chris Wilson, and then it's going to be Shamak Glolit, because Max Spooner will have that penalty applied afterwards, and he's going to fall back to 9th. An eventful finish to an incident-packed race 2 here at Thruxton. Callum Cripps coming through from 5th on the grid for his 5th win from 8 races this year. Lewis Manley couldn't quite do the double, finishing in 2nd place as he fell back after having a commanding lead at the halfway stage, and it is a 2nd podium of the season for Ben Willis in 3rd, then Ashton, Christopher, Bennyworth, Wilson, Glodek, Tolbert and Spooner. We'll see you in a couple of minutes for the interviews. So, an incident-packed race 2. The only real shame is we weren't able to bring you all of it. Apologies for the technical problems. We will bring you on our usual podium finish in reverse order. We'll start with Ben Willis as he's here waiting. Second in race 1, third in race 2. How was it for you?
Yeah, really good. I didn't have the pace to keep up with Lewis or Callum. They're in another league, so I was quite happy just following them. I don't know what happened behind round 4. It seemed quite a big gap, about 10 seconds. And then, yeah, just tried to keep touch with the top 2, keep the tyres in check. Almost got Lewis at the end, so yeah.
Have you thought about the option? You've got it coming up in race 3.
Yeah, I'm concerned, really concerned. Just need to try and keep that tyre alive as long as possible. If I can do that, then I think we're in a good place to win on reverse grid. So let's see what happens.
Fancy a hat-trick at podium?
So, I'm nothing. Hope so.
Fingers crossed for you. Thank you very much, Ben. I'll try and see if I can see Lewis. Where is Lewis? Oh, here we go. 20 points, followed by 17. Lewis Manley leading at the halfway stage. Was it just losing a bit?
Probably not that. It's just started to struggle at the chicane. Went great to normally, and the car just didn't want to stop. So that's why I went deep twice. So that didn't happen. I reckon me and Callum were very close at the finish. Whoever won, I don't know. But obviously my mistake. So very frustrating. I was leading.
Action there can be at Thruxton and everything on the first lap. 2 good clean starts and got away well both times.
Obviously now I've got used to race 3, so I'll see reverse grid on the way. So hopefully I can make some progress and finish well again. And fingers crossed I can be at the top tip of the podium today. My goodness, that's always the aim. But if I can't, then try and get into the top 3 at least. So again, point to the win and I can guarantee that. So.
Races, and we will just wait to see if we. Here is Callum. Congratulations. A bit better than race 1. We lost your 100% podium record, but hard work to work your way up from 5th on the grid.
Yeah, I mean it was hard. I know that Lewis would start to use his tyres at the end, but my car's just really quick out of that section because I can use the rear-wheel drive to steer the car, whereas everybody else has to use the fronts, and they just burn up so much. So I was kind of, as soon as when I got into second, I was pretty much biding my time and just waiting. And then Lewis made a mistake at the chicane, and then did the same again. I just pinched him to the inside on the overtake, and we just went straight on. So
And just looking back a little, just that race. What's your view on that?
I mean, it's so difficult to say because we're all so close together. I got the run on Jack, and then thought I had the run on Adam just going through, and went to I was prepared to go to the grass, but he just came across. If he came across slower, I would have probably backed out of it because I would have seen what he was trying to do. But he came across so quickly that I didn't have time to either. Well, even if I lifted off, I would have still gone into the back of him, so I'd have had to brake, which meant Jack would have gone into the back of me. So it would have been a bit. It's just fine margins. It happens, It's 130 mile an hour going through. It's going to happen. So yeah.
Absolutely. So race 3, you're on the of the grid. Do you think that's an advantage or a disadvantage?
It's the advantage, I think. Looking at what happens in that race 2 there, where Lewis Grant's is going to do it again, but we're going to be further back this time, so it's going to be a lot of fighting to the front, and then when at the front, we'll see what happens. But yeah, especially if I have a lockup, I'm braking so early into the last chicane just because I don't want a lockup that I had in race 1, where the tyre was like a 20 pence a piece afterwards. So yeah, and it just ruins the race. So yeah, it's definitely going to be tyre management also than it normally is on the medium what we would use. So on the soft, sorry. So yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, should be great fun. Thank you very much, Callum. Thank you for joining. I think Grant will be on it very soon, and we'll be able to give you more for race 3. Just how we did for race 3. To find him first, and I think it's Right then, hope you're still with us. Grant from Simply Race is with us, as is John Dean Smith, Alpine driver. And Grant is going to draw the random number to decide how many positions we're going to be reversing on the grid for race number 3. I didn't know we had this many. I didn't know we had this many drivers. It's a 10. We have a full reverse grid, and so Max, let's get Max in. Let's get Max in because your track limits penalty is now a game because you're on pole position for race 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
Did you take all the 8s and 9s out of that pack?
I may have many.
So pole for race 3. You've run your option tyres. You're on the main tyre. How do you fancy your chances?
Better than when it would have been with the option tyre, because by the end of it, they had gone. So, yeah, just a simple race to just try and execute.
That's great. Well, I'll look forward to it, Max. We'll look forward to seeing you in action in race 3 very shortly. We had a full reverse grid, of course, in the Alpines in race 2. Lots of action there, including particularly for one driver who got spun around on the first lap in a spotty car, which didn't go very well. Be very Welcome back to Thruxton. Race 3 of the third and final race of the day in this third round of the Simply Race Touring Car Championship is about to begin. We've got lots to catch you up on because our lovely Grant Lyman drew number 10 with the pack of cards, and so it's a full reverse grid, which means Max Spooner and Colin Talbot are on the front row. We've got 6 drivers running the option medium tyre in this final race of the day, and as always, race 3 action guaranteed. So it's Max Spooner and Colin Talbot who are on the front row. They have both run the option tyre already today. Row 2, then Shamak Glodick and Chris Wilson. I think they're both on the option tyre. There they are. Row 3, Ben Bennyworth and Adam Christopher. They've run the option tyres already. And then we have the top 4 from the race earlier on, race 2, in reverse order. Jack Ashton, Ben Willis, Lewis Manley and the race winner Callum Griffith, and all 4 of them are on the option tyre, and they try and work their way through. So they've got a balancing act to try and find, working their way through the, so far today, slower drivers who finished towards the back of the pack, starting towards the front of this one without burning through their tyres too much. And the reports we've had already today from the drivers who have run the option tyres is they do tend to struggle even more with tyre wear later on in the race, running the mediums compared to the prime hard tyre. So 10 drivers, another 16 laps to finish today's racing, and undoubtedly a lot more action prospect, particularly sure at the chicane and at the complex on the first lap of the reverse grid race. Watch out for Adam Christopher because he's won a reverse grid race this season already. That was Donington Park. Callum Cripps won the reverse grid race at Brands Hatch last time out. And just a quick word about Simply Race Touring Car Championship and Alpine Cup. The next round, the 4th round out of 7, is coming up in 3 weeks' time. The international circuit at Alton Park, the island circuit I should say, in 3 weeks' time, Sunday, 13th of November. Very much hope you can join us for that. If you want to race, then get in touch with the Simply Race team and see if there's any entries available. So all the cars line up then, and we get ready to go for this last 16-lap reverse grid race of the day. Max Spooner starting on the left of the front row on the inside, Colin Talbot on the right, and race 3 is underway. Max Spooner maybe just doing a little bit of ground on the line, and look at that, speeding through that is, I think that's Shamak Glodick coming through into the lead. It is. It's Glodick who leads, then it's Spooner, a little bit of contact from Wilson has come through as Colin Talbot falls backwards. Manley's progress isn't quite as good as he might have hoped. And big crash on the first lap, and it's Spooner and Glodick who've both gone off into the complex. And suddenly Chris Wilson finds himself into the lead. We'll have a look back at that a little later on as they come through the first sector, and it is Glodick who leads. That looks like Wilson in second. Jack Ashton, who started 8th, finds himself up into 3rd ahead of Ben Bennyworth. Lewis Manley is 5th, then Callum Cripps, then Ben Willis, Adam Christopher. In fact, we've got Talbot, Adam Christopher, and Max Spooner is the unlucky person who's lost out there with Shamak Glodick. Well, I think actually it might be lag that's ahead. It looks like Shamak Glodick is actually at the front. So that might have been a little bit of a lag issue there. Unless that pink car disappeared. Watching Ashton. No, he is in front. Glodick, it remains there. So it must have been lag related. Ashton's moved away into 2nd place. He's having to defend from Wilson. Ben Bennyworth taking a watching brief in 4th. Cripps having a look, trying to get the outside of Manley. That's the top 2 from race 2. They're following up in 5th place. They've made good progress on this first lap as we come to the end of lap 1. Glodick, Ashton, Wilson, Bennyworth, Manley and Cripps is your top 6. Through the left-hander at Allard come Ashton and Wilson. Then the right-hander, I should say. Can't have left and right properly today. Through the left-hander at Green, and then into the complex of Campbell, Cobb and Seagrave. Big dive up the inside from Wilson. Just gets it stopped in time for running up the back of Ashton. There's a bit of a cork in the bottle there, falling behind Chris Wilson, Bennyworth, Manley, Cripps, Willis, Adam Christopher. They're all there. Line astern on lap 2. Colin Talbot just a little bit further back in 9th place. And all this, it's allowing Shamak Glodick to build a little bit of a lead. He's just done a 6/10 of a second ahead of Jack Ashton. Round the long, endless right-hander it was seen of Goodwood. Then the short shoot towards Church, the fastest corner of the whole season. And I believe we're going to get to see a replay of the start in a moment. So here we go, it's in the picture-in-picture there. And there's the spin round with Spooner and Glodick. And so maybe it wasn't a lag issue with Glodick, it was just he went cross-country and resumed the position. Decided to skip Bob and come back on at Seagrave. So that solves that issue. So Glodick Oh, he's only just holding off Ashton now. And it's Glodek, Ashton, Wilson. Their line astern. 1, 2, and 3 as they complete lap 2. They're on. They're going 3 wide into Allard. Ashton and Wilson are both through, and Wilson's got the inside here, and he's going to take the lead. Chris Wilson, but Zhamak Glodek is coming back in the Pink Panther. Can he get up the inside into the complex? He's going to go for it up the inside. Great work by Glodek. If he can get it done, there's contact, but he's managed to get the move done. Ashton's going to try and come through on the outside and get both of them into Seagrove, and here comes Lewis Manley to join the fun. This is proper race 3 stuff now, and Ashton take the lead as they head towards Noble. Then it's Wilson, Glodek, Manley, and that looks like Callum Cripps getting past Ben Bennyworth and moving into the top 5 himself. But it's still so close. There's 1.3 seconds between the top 7 here. Ashton, Wilson, Glodek, Manley, then Cripps, who's managed to get that tight line on the inside, come out towards Church again. That might get him past Lewis Manley, you know, as they come up towards Church. Just having a look in the background behind Zhamak Glodek to see if Cripps got the move done. The answer is yes, he did. Cripps up to 4th, ahead of Manley, and then moves further back between Bennyworth, trying to get past Ben Willis for 6th and 7th. Willis on the inside. Bennyworth on the outside, the battle of the 2 Bens, and it's Willis already with 2 podiums to his name today, who gets his job done into the chicane. So, Bree, lots of action to bring you up to date on at the end of lap 3. Ashton, Wilson, Glodek, Cripps, Manley, Willis, Bennyworth, Christopher, less than 3 seconds between the top 8 at the end of lap 3, and then Colin Talbot and Max Spooner a little bit further back. Plenty to feast your eyes on a battle for the lead. Wilson up the inside at Cobb. Brawler came almost out of nowhere. I want to see if he got it done, and the answer is no, he didn't. Ashton just about manages to hang on. Chris Wilson with a 9th and a 7th to his name so far today. Wilson with Ashton with an 8th and a 4th. The two of them, neither of them got on the podium yet today, hoping to make amends with exactly what race 3 is designed for. Through Goodwood, back on the run towards Church. Zhamak Glodek is doing a great job to hang on to 3rd place. Again, that tighter line though from Callum Cripps may open the opportunity. He's gone to the outside this time, desperately trying to find a way through because he doesn't want the top 2 to get too far away. He'll be happy to have cleared Lewis Manley, though Manley's right behind him. But Cripps in search of win number 6. He leads the championship by 23 coming into this race unofficially. He'll want to try and benefit and take out more points on his nearest rival, Jack Ashton, into the chicane. To complete lap 4, Ashton Wilson. Glodek is still hanging on there in 3rd place, and a superb defensive effort so far. Then Cripps, then Manley. Willis is still there. Bennyworth and Adam Christopher, they've just fallen a little bit further back in 7th and 8th. Jack Ashton, fastest lap of the race, despite almost being overtaken, a 1:13.8, and contact into Campbell as Chris Wilson has another go. Can't get through. Ashton holds on. And a great battle here between the 98 and the 68 at the front of the pack. This may well bring the chasers back into play. Through the left-hander of Noble and the long right of Goodwood. Glodek going much wider than Cripps, trying to take a later apex to keep the speed. Cripps trying to get the power of that rear-wheel drive, almost contact, and tries to prise open the gap. Great bit of driving on the defending champion. He's got a good chance of getting this done into Church. We looked toward the back, and yes, he has. And Cripps is past Zhamak Glodek. He's up into 3rd place, and now he can set about chasing down Chris Wilson, who's just over 1 second up the road. Up Woodham Hill to the club chicane to complete lap 5 out of 16. There is Callum Cripps. Glodek trying to come back on him, but can't quite get the drive up towards chicane. And he's now got mirrors full of white and green and red of Lewis Manley as he tries to hold on to 4th place now. Come down the pit straight. Glodek goes defensive, but I think Manley's got the inside line into Allard. Gives Glodek racing room, but Glodek's still off onto the grass, and Ben Willis has to take avoiding action, but managed to get past him as well, and Glodek unfortunately falls back into 6th place. Manley up to 4th, Willis up to 5th, and now Glodek down to 6th, just ahead of Bennyworth and Christopher. At the front, Ashton leads Chris Wilson by 3/4 of a second. Callum Cripps in turn a further second behind. Another fastest lap last time round by Jack Ashton of 1:13.4 against a 13.9 for Wilson and a 13.5 for Callum Cripps. That's your 1, 2, 3. Here's Lewis Manley on your screen in car number 2 in 4th place. A 1st and a 2nd already to his name today on one of his favourite tracks of the season. Willis and Glodek behind. Manley is running just in the 13s as well. Do with a good clear lap here to try and keep the pace of the others ahead of him. He's lost a little bit in sector 1, but his sector 2 is competitive. Slight left and then the rise up Woodham Hill. Ashton with a bit of breathing space, 0.8 over Wilson, who getting his mirrors increasingly full of British Racing Green car number 1 of Callum Cripps. 6 laps down, 10 to go. Ashton, Wilson, Cripps, Manley, Willis, Glodek, Bennyworth, Christopher, Talbot and Spooner is your order with 10 laps to go in today's thrilling racing here at Thruxton. Fastest lap of the race, Callum Cripps, 13.1 against a 13.7 last time round for Chris Wilson and a 13.4 for Jack Ashton. You can see in the picture-in-picture there just how close Cripps has got to the back of car number 68. He'll want to get past the second as quickly as possible and set about chasing down Jack Ashton, his nearest championship rival. Gone wide through Noble. Will we see Cripps go wide through Goodwood again? Try and get the tighter apex. Wait for the gap to open. But Chris Wilson goes tight to try and defend. He's done a good job of that. And I'm not sure Cripps might be able to get up the inside into Church. It'd be brave if he did it from that far back. And he's gone for it. He's got the move done. Can he get it stick and keep it on the track? It's a great move by Callum Cripps. Really, really good move on lap 7. He's up into second place. He's lost a little bit of time to Jack Ashton, who's now 2.1 seconds up the road. And it looks like Lewis Manley's managed to get through on Wilson as well. Wilson going to try and go back into the chicane. Oh, a little bit of contact. Wilson been forced out wide. Is he going to spin? Is he going to keep it on the island? He is. Willis has gone through. Glodek's going to go through. The upshot of it is that Lewis Manley is now on for a hat-trick of podiums. He's moved through into third place. He's going to try and keep pace with Callum Cripps through the remaining 9 laps of this race. Jack Ashton leads by 2 seconds. What can Callum Cripps do? Now he's got a clear track to try and chase him down over the second lap of this race. Here's second, third and fourth. Cripps, Manley and Willis. Manley's looking for a hat-trick of podiums today. So's Ben Willis. A great showing so far with a second and a third. He's done very well, probably more than just about any other driver in the field, to keep himself out of trouble. And he's on for another strong result here in car number 85. Ashton, is he losing his lead? It's staying static at the moment. It's still around 2.1 seconds. Cripps, I think, will have the confidence that he won't have to do too much defending at this stage from Lewis Manley. Cripps proved particularly strong round this far section of the track through Goodwood and here at Church. Always gone wide there, though. As a commentator's curse, he makes the mistake. Will that open opportunity for Manley to try and dive up the inside and take second place off him? Here they come. This will be half distance at the end of this lap. No way through there for Manley. So halfway. What's the gap now? Because I think Cripps will have lost a bit of time because of that off. He's having to go very defensive now to hold off Lewis Manley. Ashton leads by 2.5 seconds. Then it's Cripps, Manley and Willis here. Then Glodek. And then just a bit further back, Wilson, Bennyworth, Christopher, Talbot and Spooner. Through the long left, down to the complex. We're into the second half of the race now. Lap 9 out of 16. Cripps, Manley and Willis on your screen there in second, third and fourth. You can see the other drivers really in very close quarters. It does show how competitive this championship is. We've only had 8 races so far before this one in this championship so far. We've already had 8 different drivers finish on the podium. It is a very competitive and very open championship. You may look at Callum Cripps' result, pick up loads of first and second and think he's dominating, but believe you me, he has to work hard for all of these results. There really is very little room for errors. You saw as he went wide at Church last time round. Will he get it right this time? It's a much cleaner line from Cripps. He's got a bit more breathing space now over Manley, and Cripps is just starting ever so slightly to reel in Jack Ashton. The gap's down to 1.8 seconds as they come up to the line now with 7 laps to go. Even if you put aside Cripps needing to pass Ashton, he's got to reel him in at least a quarter of a second a lap if he's going to win this race. Across the line that time, though, Cripps is doing what he needs to do. That time round, Ashton a 13.8, Cripps a 13.2. The gap is 2 seconds, but Cripps does look faster at this stage in the race. There's some bit of a wheel on the grass a bit further back. I think that was Ben Bennyworth. Might come under attack from Adam Christopher, but he holds it on through the complex, and Bennyworth remains in 7th spot. Remember, the top 4-5 drivers in this race are all running the option tyre, so tyre wear could very much come into play over the remaining 6.5 laps of this final race of the day. Through Goodwood once again. Lewis Manley coming into this race unofficially only 4 points behind Jack Ashton in the championship. The chance of the title and the top positions really being revived by the 37 he's managed to pick up already with the first and second today. But with a bit of misfortune, Jack Ashton as well. Not much in it between Ashton and Cripps. They come up the hill again. to complete lap 10. Looks like it's going to be a move further back. Adam Christopher in the picture-in-picture is having a look up the inside of Ben Bennyworth. There's a good move, he can make it stick. Nice clean pass. I think it's probably the cleanest pass we've seen into the chicane in any of the three races today. And Adam Christopher moves ahead of Ben Bennyworth and back up into P7. That time round for the leaders, 13.6 for Ashton, 13.4 for Cripps. The gap is down to just under a second and a half. This race, as far as the victory is concerned, is not yet over. Keep you up to date on how that gap fluctuates and ebbs and flows as we go on. We look at Adam Christopher now. He's got past Ben Bennyworth and he very quickly latched himself onto the back of Chris Wilson, who was up there fighting pretty early on but has fallen back mid-race. He's holding on to 6th place now, but Adam Christopher is getting closer and closer and closer. Chris Wilson, like everyone else in the top 6, running the option tyre. Has he burnt through it maybe a little bit too much in the early stages, trying to hold on to that lead in the podium placings? Adam Christopher is getting closer and closer and closer as they come up to Church for the 11th time of 16. Through Church and the slight left up Wooden Hill. Keep up to date with the leaders as Callum Cripps got down to 1.2 seconds. Defensive move from Wilson. Christopher's going to try and pull off another pass and to the chicane for the second lap in a row. And it's almost a carbon copy of the first. In fact, this time he's got it done before he's come into the chicane. Another nice clean move. And Adam Christopher is up into 6th place. A little bit slow on the exit though. Wilson's got back onto the inside. He's going to get a chance to get past. We go into the last 5 laps. Can't quite get it done. Adam Christopher remains P6, 13.7 for Ashton, 13.3 for Cripps. The gap at the front is down to less than 1 second. Cripps has the time and the pace to chase Jack Ashton down, but catching is one thing and passing, as we know, is quite another. As we watch Adam Christopher now into a clear 6th place. He's got 2.2 seconds to make up on the Pink Panther of Shamak Glodek, who's just coming through Goodwood there. If he wants to get himself into the top 5, he's had a top 5 already today. Adam Christopher, he could have had a podium race one. He wants another, but I'm getting increasingly interested in what's going on in the battle for the lead. That's Manley and Willis 3rd and 4th, and you can see there, just coming through your shot, how much closer Callum Cripps has got to Jack Ashton for the lead. He's taken 6th, 7th, 10th out in the first 2 sectors of this lap. As they come up to the line with 4 to go, the picture-in-picture goes on board with Callum Cripps. So just how close he's got. We've got a great duel for the lead. We've got a great duel for 3rd. I think there's plenty more to be decided over the last 4 laps of this race. 13.9 for Cripps. 13.9 for Ashton, I should say. 13.3 for Cripps. Just a little wheel onto the dirt coming out of Allard into green. But they come onto the complex once again. As it stands, Jack Ashton came to this race 23 points behind Callum Cripps. Coming into this race, Ashton would get it down to 20 if he can win, but if Cripps get past him, it'll go up to 26. A lot will come down to who has looked after their option times the better. At the moment, it looks like it might be the Green Infinity that's done it a little bit better as Cripps continues to close in on his principal championship rival. The order with 3.5 laps to go: Ashton, Cripps, Manley, Willis, Glodek, Christopher, Wilson, Bennyworth, Talbot and Spooner. Unfortunately, after that incident on the first lap, not able to capitalise on the reverse grid pole. Cripps is a lot closer. I'm not sure if he's close enough to make a move into the chicane, but he's a lot closer than he was. Here are the leaders in your picture-in-picture. 3 laps to go when they cross the line this time, and Cripps is there. He's gradually reeled in that 2-second gap. It's taken him, 5-6 laps to do it, but he is right there and now has a chance to go for his 2nd win of the day and his 6th from 9 races this season. These are your 2 main title protagonists, and we're going to get a proper 3-lap duel for the race win in race 3 at Thruxton. Look how much more curb Ashton takes than Cripps. Much more aggressive through these slower corners, through the complex and at the chicane as well. Through the right-hander at Seagrave. We go into main focus now for the last couple of laps on the leaders. Where is Callum Cripps going to make his move? Through Goodwood and through Church and getting a good run up the hill, up Wooden Hill, seems like the most likely option. But will he have a trick up his sleeve? He's got a really, really good run through Goodwood. That does suggest he's in a good position from a tyre perspective. They come up to Church now. I don't think Cripps will try it at the inside of Church, not against a driver as talented as Jack Ashton. Here they come, and Cripps really, really pushing it, and now he's going to get the run. Now he gets the big run up the hill. He's on the outside though. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it done before the chicane, so Ashton has a chance to defend. They're side by side with the chicane, almost contact. Ashton doing a really good job defending. If he can get it stopped, he's just gone a little bit wide. He's going to have to block off the corner and stop Cripps getting a good run through, and he has. Great defensive work by Ashton. They cross the line with 2 laps to go. Into Allard for the 15th time. A great battle here coming up for the race win. Through green. Cripps is close enough. Will he try and dive up the inside into the complex? No, he's taking a bit of a wider line. Almost went a little bit too wide there. We'll try and cut back through Cobb into Seagrave. And again, it's going to be getting the good drive through the fast corners. Noble, Goodwood, Church, and getting the run up the hill. That is going to be the main decision for it. We'll keep a very tight eye, I should say, on the times further back. Manley and Willis are embroiled in a duel for 3rd. Glodek and Christopher likewise for 5th. Wilson and Bennyworth for 8th. It's kind of 2 by 2. It's like going into Noah's Ark at the moment with a lap and a half to go. Ashton still leads Cripps, coming up to Church the penultimate time. Absolutely no margin for error for Jack Ashton at all, because Cripps will be all over him. Just a little bit of a wobble. Cripps gets a good run again. Ashton goes defensive as he can. It's all he can do. I don't think Cripps again is going to get all the way around him. He's going to try though. Again, almost a bit of contact. Ashton's got that defensive line down to a T, but he's got to get it stopped. The chicane blocks the line off. Smoother run now, and now they come through the chicane to start the last lap. Who's going to win it? Ashton or Cripps? Who knows what happened? There's one of the cars has gone off towards the back, and there's lost a bit of time. I think it might have been Shamak Glodek. We'll catch up on that after the race is finished. It is Shamak Glodek, and I think that's Adam Christopher through to 5th. It has. Onto the last lap. Cripps has lost a little bit of time coming through Allard, but he's made it up going into the complex. He's going to get one go at this coming into up Woodham Hill. Manley and Willis have got a bit closer, so if anything happens, they are primely poised to take full advantage if there is an incident. There's your picture in pitch, keeping an eye on the battle for 3rd. It's all going to kick off here, I think, on this last half a lap. That's all we got left. Through Goodwood now, then it's Church, the hill, and the chicane to go. Ashton has got to absolutely ace this run through Church, or Cripps will have a chance to get the inside line. Here they come into Church, the fast right-hander, over 110 miles an hour. Through they come. Has Ashton got his run right? He's not. They've both run onto the grass. It's still giving Ashton a chance to get to the inside as they come up to the final corner of the race. Ashton goes defensive. Cripps dives to the inside. Can he find the gap? No, he can't, and I think that might be it. Unless Ashton runs wide, he's going to get it nice and stop. A nice block pass. Cripps will try to cut inside and get the run to the line. I don't think he's going to do it. It's going to be Ashton who gets it done just by less than 0.3 of a second. Lewis Manley comes across the line in 3rd ahead of Ben Willis. A hat-trick of podiums for Lewis Manley. And then we wait for the rest to come through. Adam Christopher comes through to finish in 5th place. 2 top 5 for him today, as well as a race win in the Alpines. Shamak Glodek in 6th place, very competitive, taking good advantage of a position in the reverse grid. May well have got a top 5 had it not been for an off very late on. And then Chris Wilson, Ben Bennyworth, and then it should be Colin Talbot coming across the line just ahead of Max Spooner. Great racing. Some great duels between lots of drivers. We've got one off on the slowing down lap, which looks like it might be Ben Bennyworth. Not that it matters, it won't change the result. But a great day of racing. 3 races, 3 different winners. Jack Ashton came into it 15 points behind. He comes out of it 20 points behind. But considering he's had penalties, he's had offs and everything, I don't think he'll be too disappointed to only lose 5 points of ground in the championship. We will be back with you in a couple of minutes for the interviews with our podium finishers from this final race of the day.
Okay, so after a thrilling conclusion to today's racing, hello, I'm Grant. You missed me all through of the touring cars, by the way. We had Dan stand in for me, but after a thrilling 3 races today, we're going to go to our final podium. Now, taking 3rd place today with 47 points was Ben Willis. So, Ben Willis, make your way to the podium, please. Big round of applause for Ben Willis. In 2nd place with 48 points and a race victory was Callum Cripps. Your 2nd step for the podium, Callum. And our event winner with 50 points was Lewis Manley. So well done to Lewis. So well done. Big round of applause for our top 3. We're going to do a very quick interview with our top 3 drivers. So we will start in 3rd place with Ben Willis. Dane, if you can please. Brilliant. In 3rd place, we've got Ben Willis, who had a very consistent day today. So let's talk about it from race 1, where a very lucky end to the race, but you kept the consistency up the weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Lucky end to the race. Had a bit of an accident in the end, so came from P5 to P2. Go wrong with that. Car's been great.
Awesome. Happy that the rain magically stayed away?
Yes, definitely. Really helps. I think that would have been a lot harder with rain, so pretty good.
Awesome. Well done. Hope to see more of you on the podium in the future. In 2nd place, we come to our championship leader, Mr. Cripps. How was that for you today? Lots of racing today.
Yeah, it was busy. Lots of overtakes and lots of avoiding carnage as well. It was very difficult. But, yeah, it was good fun. Everybody raced pretty cleanly. We had a slight tap in race 1, obviously, but apart from that, it was a really good day.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that there was a lot of action. It made it definitely very exciting to watch on the stream. So I'm sure everyone enjoyed watching at home. But really, really high up action, and to show how Cashton gets a race win, doesn't even finish on the top 3.
Yeah, it's really, all 3 of us really, really close today. Ben's pace in race 2 and 3 especially was really fast. So yeah, it's a good day overall. It's a shame about race 1, but got to take. Looking forward to missing the next one, but so the next one will be probably December.
Fair enough. Maybe get some early practice in. Who knows?
Yes. It's worth it.
Callum does plenty on his own home sim.
No.
He comes here all the time.
I come here all the time. It's my second home. So yeah.
Awesome. We now join our event winner, Lewis Manley. Lewis, a very successful day for you today. Race win. Correctly? Yep. So really good sort of comebacks in action today.
Yes, today, but as now I've heard for race 3 with the 5-second penalty, which I'm totally disagreeing, because I'm the one that got a slight tap on my sim. I've had harder hits before in the past, nothing done about it. So obviously, what else can you do? Everyone knows I'm not that type of driver that's putting people off. I'm here to race. Really frustrating, a bit mixed emotions at the minute, of course.
Well, I would put that behind and go from there. Build from that. And incidents are not going to make an opinion on the incident, because I'm not in a place to say an opinion on the incident. But you had a good race win. You had scored some really good, valuable points today. Race 1, Callum's off. There's a lot of positives to take from today. The pace was really strong today. The tyre wear level seemed, tyre management seemed a lot better today from yourself as well. So a lot of positives to take from today, I would say.
Exactly, because my car's felt very strong all day today. Obviously, I've had top position earlier. Obviously, I've taken the fastest lap away today, and the race win in race 1. But should have had really 2 wins and a 3rd rather than win 2nd and a 4th. But obviously, race 2 was totally my mistake. Outbraked a little bit twice. And then race 3, I don't know what else I've done wrong to get that penalty, but you do.
A lot of mistakes to that for the whole event. So, yourself up too much on that one, Lewis. Get yourself looking forward to Alton Park. Good circuit for you?
It's normally a good circuit for me because I've had a pretty good record there. Won twice in 18, once in 19. I didn't win last year with the wet race we had, so I'm hoping in a few weeks it'll be dry again. So my Alton Park record is normally very good, so I can try and repeat it if I can, of course.
Awesome. Well done to our top 3. Thank you so much for watching at home. If you're still tuned in for a really great day of racing at Thruxton, we will see you at Alton Park in November. Have a great night wherever you are. Goodbye.